It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
We're here. Y'all thought I wasn't here? Come on, it's Friday, but I am here. So if you like zoom it up, zoom in close. If you see a little red in my eyes, I ain't drunk. I'm not high. Shampoo. when you kind of like race through the shower there, you know, and shampoo and everything. But anyway, we all good. It's Friday edition of the Geno Jones Show. 7:30, a little after 7:30. 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Coming soon, a new start time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central Time, 4 on the West Coast. Now, I need everybody to do something for me. Right now. Click on the thumbs up button. You see that? Thumbs up. Like it's so important. Listen, we have to let YouTube know what time it is. They call it algorithms. Algorithms are just a set of instructions. So they need to know how many people are watching for how long, because that helps my business. It's so important. We support Black-owned businesses and Black-owned media. So click on the thumbs up button right now. Everybody, tell everybody, click on that thumbs up. Like, they call it like. So like, share, subscribe. Like, share, that means copy and paste that link. Copy and paste the link anywhere you want to. Copy and paste the link in an email and a text message. Copy and paste the link on your forehead, on your butt cheeks, on your left or right butt cheek, on your belly button, on your eyelids, out on your neck. Copy and paste it anywhere you want to. Then tell everybody to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. So we've had a great week of shows. People call it content, education, information. Some people call it edutainment, which sounds weird. But anyway, y'all know how we get down. Nearly 6 years. So, and it's Friday. My guest co-host, she's back, because you know she's a queen and all. Miss Plus Size Charleston, so she's still, you know, she's on her throne, and they got the queen going around her court and all. But K-Love is back, and we got a special guest who is going to be supposed to be on Monday. Actually, I wanted to have him on last week, but we got him on. So you talking about who's up next? This brother is next up. I promise you're gonna see him. You're gonna see him all over the place. So I want to kind of go back, week in review real quick. We like to have fun. So obviously, so much going on. Stevie Wonder said he's going to be releasing a brand new album in 2027. The first time Stevie Wonder has released an album in 22 years is going to be called Through the Eyes of Wonder. Next spring it is coming out. But coming before that, Jodeci, so 35 years ago, they released their debut album, which is an iconic album, one of the great albums ever, Forever My Lady, with the iconic title song, Forever My Lady. Now, I got a real singer coming on, so I need to just shut up and stop trying to sing. Oh, by the way, the show is interactive. Everybody watching me right now, if you want me to shout somebody out, Leo, stand up. It's your time to shine. Happy birthday if you are a Leo celebrating a birthday today. Wesley Snipes is celebrating a birthday. And a brother here from the, we call it the Low Country, the Charleston, South Carolina metro area. NFL star, former All-Pro. He was a superstar in high school here at a Somerville High School. As a matter of fact, his team won state championship in basketball. He was the star player. As a matter of fact, I think the championship game, he had the game-winning shot. Then he played football in Georgia. Then he played for the Bengals for years. For a minute, he was with Arizona. Shout out to my man, A.J. Green, celebrating a birthday today. I think A.J.'s 38. And my man, Miss Wesley Snipes. Darkness. Wesley's 64 today, so Leo's celebrating a birthday. So Stevie Wonder, new album, next fall. Also, so let me go back to Jodeci. So 35 years ago, they released the album Forever My Lady. Come and talk to me. I really wanna. Now, my favorite on there was Stay. Woo-hoo-hoo! Just the beginning. You know, some songs, it's like the first note or the first two notes when you hear that, boom, You already know what time I say. Oh, girl. Certain songs just trigger certain memories that I would never talk about on camera. My mother's watching, and Damaris is not too far away, so I would never. But you know, certain songs, and that album, that Jodeci album, it just had that vibe. Oh man, really one of the iconic, one of the greatest albums ever. So they are going on tour. It is a Forever My Lady 35th anniversary tour. It's going to be start October 24th. They're starting out in San Francisco, out in the Bay Area. They're going to be, let's see, they're going to be in San Francisco. They're going to do LA. They're going to do Chicago, Charlotte, Vegas, Detroit, or Detroit City. Folks say Houston, New Orleans, Miami. Now, I haven't seen Charleston on the tour itinerary. So Casey, Jodeci, Mr. Dalvin, and Devontae, I need y'all to swing through the Low Country. That's going to be exciting. And Prince, get ready for Prince the Musical. It's coming to Broadway next year. Opening day is April 12th. And for the church, or as my co-host is going to be on camera in a second, the people of the Lord, Fred Hammond, the Clark sisters, Dietrich Haddon are taking the gospel music to Sin City, and if any city, well, there's a whole lot of cities that could use the Lord, but they're taking the church to the Sin City, Las Vegas. Can't use the Las Vegas Strip. It's going to be this fall. It's going to be at the theater at the Virgin Hotels. I love it. And I know some of the church folk, but you know what? We're going to talk about this. As a matter of fact, on camera right now, ladies and gentlemen, ladies first, of course. Yes, you know her, you love her. Look at she out there. Where you back in Ghana? You in the motherland there? You see what you got, the aloe plants? You know, I love it. Miss Plus Size Charleston, queen of all media. Radio personality, Star 99.7. She is just a social media star, not an influencer. She has impact. And I'm not no shade to influencers, but she has a community because just her messages and just what she posts, it will speak to your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, and spirit. So, and we love her here. We got to get her back. We're happy to get her when we can because she's a busy woman now. So she said she could slum it. She said, "Gee, I'm gonna slum it for you. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and come back in the hood. I'll slum it for a little bit. I got my security around if y'all get out of hand." And this brother you see where it says the power of parks and recreation, man, you talking about a multi-talented, multi-hyphenated brother. He is a singer, songwriter, producer, rapper. He can sing and he can flow. Like some folks, claim they can do one or both and can't do either. He does both well. He is, trust me, y'all, R&B, gospel. He is like the next big thing. I predicted that. I told him that to his face. I'm speaking that into existence. Name it and claim it, speak it into existence. And on top of it, he is a public servant here, a councilman here in our incredible city of North Charleston, South Carolina. I don't know when he sleeps because I don't know how the hell you get all that done and do it well. Welcome to the show, or back to the show. Our guest, our co-host with the mostest, Miss Christy K-Love. K-Love! Baxter is back. And Mike A. Brown. What's happening, family?
Hey, Geno. What's going on, G?
What's going on, man? Glad to be here.
Shout out to Mike, man. We're so excited to get this brother on. So, all right, so quick story, Kay. I think I told you. So it was a Mother's Day event at, I think, the Life Center Church here in North Charleston. They had like a big Mother's Day show. And Mike and his group, they were on. So I took Damaris. So Damaris don't impress easily. She would be like a great one-person focus group. Because if you really want to get a feel of whether something or somebody got it, she's like the human test crash dump. Just get her. So we went, and Mike and his group performed, and she was like, "Oh wow, he's good. They're good." She was like really like super impressed, like wanted to see them again. So fast forward to, I guess this was about 3 weekends ago. Mike, was it about 3 weekends ago? Shout out to a brother we affectionately refer to here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro as Stunner. Ronald Smith and the Positive Vibes Pathway started off as Positive Vibes Ron Janae Smith. He turned just the pain and the tragedy of losing his daughter, turned that pain into purpose, and now they've expanded what they're doing. So it's like a celebration, a five-year anniversary celebration. And Mike and his crew performed again. So the mayor is like, "Oh yeah, that's that young man we saw on Mother's Day." So she's like super impressed. So anyway, I pulled him aside and just told him that. I said, "Hey man, look, you are different. You got something special. You are anointed, and I don't know where you're going with it, but wherever you're going with it, you're going to be a superstar with it." And I meant it. And I wouldn't, when stuff, when the Spirit puts things on my heart, Kay already knows that, unfortunately, too well, because sometimes she wish, well, God, could you just not, if you want to tell me something, can you please not use him as a vessel? Damn it. Yeah. See, look at that face. Look on her face.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be like, all right now. All right. Yeah.
So, and I saw Mike and I said, man, I gotta get you on the show. So I'm so happy to have you both on there. All right. So listen, I guess between the three of us, I defer to you all. You all are probably more firm or more firmly, I don't know if that's correct grammar to all my English teachers, more firmly planted in the church. Even though my mother's like, boy, I used to make you go to Sunday school, church, vacation Bible study. But then the hypocrites turned me off and I just stopped going because, the hypocrites used to try to shame my mother and talk about my mother. And I'm like, y'all ass out here doing the worst and the most. And y'all talking about, I'm going to go to hell because I ain't baptized and y'all are baptized. And the stuff that y'all doing, I'm like, I'm confused. Look at Chris.
What is that right there? That's a good place to start because I would love to hear Mike's take on that.
So, all right, well, Mike, you got the floor, man. So
that's a good place.
I'll let you start there, but I do want you to. I want us to get your origin story, but please, since K-Love is she's my co-host, so the co-host says she wants you to start there. So I'm gonna let you start right there.
Yeah, honestly, man, you ain't said no lies, man. I feel like that has turned a lot of generations away, but it definitely turned my generation away. A lot of my generation don't even go to church no more. I mean, and they don't care about it. They don't think twice about it because I would say a lot of them are seeking more relationship, but I would say to the other end of that, finding a good church home is almost like finding the perfect college, the perfect school, the perfect restaurant. Anything in this world you got to find tailored for you. And sadly, before we were kind of forced into church, like you said, sometimes having to go places and what worked for our parents may not have worked for us. For me specifically, my dad. He was, and I went to Royal Land Life Center. So my dad played 8 a.m. at Royal and 11 a.m. at Life Center. So I was at two completely different churches, Baptist, Pentecostal.
Wow.
I mean, two different worlds every Sunday.
Wow.
So where one church had more structure, I would say that there was more judgment. But it was more structure for the family, financially, but there was more judgment because people were able to do so much religious things. So they built this system that they could hide behind. And it's all these religious things that keep you in line, but it doesn't really gauge your heart. Where when I went to the Pentecostal church, non-denominational, it was all about heart. It was all about feel. It was all about expression. That's why I was able to sing my first songs, play on instruments, and suck, either get kicked off or let back on. But it was so free and expressive, but it didn't have much structure. And because of that, there were dangerous things that were happening in these churches that people weren't able to gauge. Even we're going to be transparent on here today. Child molestation happening in churches and things like this, things that could not be gauged because everyone was so focused on preaching or singing and all these other things. So it's such a, but I would tell someone, man, to find hope and understanding that nothing is perfect. And once again, we just got to find what's tailored for us.
Christy, I told this brother is wise beyond his years. Because he came, I love it, out the door because I guess he's seen enough of my episodes, so he know tell the truth, shame the devil. Gene
hey,
Jones.
Man, I laughed at that yesterday.
Gene Jones said, she said, Jeannie.
You said your grandma didn't cuss, but you.
She didn't. Not my grandmother didn't. Now my mother, it's a different story. My mother was, she's a Sag. So yeah, you trigger that Sag now. She got a heart. She's got my grandmother's spirit and soul, but she got a little different. Yeah, don't mess with her, cause she'll have to put up that church finger now. Lord, you gonna have to forgive me, but somebody about to get cussed. Yes,
man.
But Gene Jones said, "Tell the truth, shame the devil." That is, man. But Christy, he nailed it, and he went there.
He did.
He did. But I knew he would. Everything they tell you that you're gonna go to hell for.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Yeah.
Especially if you're not baptized, you're gonna go to hell. But then, so you baptized, so that means all this other stuff you said you ain't supposed to do, you get a pass? Oh yeah. Yeah. So and Christy, Mike, that happened to me. I was a teenager. So basically, I had to go to church every Sunday till probably maybe 14, somewhere around that. Something 14. I know my mother's watching. She'll probably tell me. And at one point, I can still see the conversation that my grandmother had with my mother. Because my mother she would be mad. And my grandmother said, "Don't make him go." Just like that. She said, "Don't." So apparently, because she heard me. Because I explained to them why. And it angered me. I was really angry because I felt like my mother was being attacked because my mom was young. She was a single mom. And she wasn't doing anything. It was just like if we didn't come to church every Sunday or Bible study, they would like try to shame her or, if and my mother has a big heart. And even as a kid, I would see like people would take advantage of her kindness and generosity, and they would smile in her face, but they think you kids, you don't hear stuff, but you hear stuff. You hear people talking behind her back, talking about, and then, I'll never forget. I know I shared the story before. You're going to get a kick out of this. Christy, I think has heard it, Mike, but you're going to get a kick. And my mother, I know she's watching. So I never forget. So there were a couple churches. There was a church right at the end of the block we went to for a little bit. And then there was another church where some like family members went to. But anyway, we went on this trip to visiting some church in Indiana. Now, Chicago, the southeast side of Chicago borders Indiana. So northwest Indiana. So always somewhere in Indiana. I don't know. But the only thing, and I might have been thinking, I'm saying 12. I don't know if it was 13. Maybe somewhere between, I'd say 11 and 12. It's for some reason the number 12. I don't know. My mother, she may remember. But I do remember going on. We got on this bus and we went to this church. But it was in the summertime, so the adults, they were doing stuff and kids were doing stuff. Now at this time, I would hear like the rumblings or, what's wrong? How come he ain't baptized? And he gonna go to hell because he ain't talking about me. He hadn't got baptized. And I'll never forget. So we go to this church and I see kids kind of like my peers, a little older, like 14, 15, 17, 18, who were supposed to be members of the church, or their parents were. And they were smoking weed and they was trying to like have sex like in the back or like in some little off. So I'm seeing all this with these, when we visited this other church and seeing these kids doing that, and I'm like, and then some of the kids or teenagers who were from the church that we went with. So I'm like, wait a minute, y'all said I'm gonna go to hell because I'm not baptized, but they smoking marijuana and having sex. I ain't doing any of that, and I'm going to hell. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And I called out the hypocrisy, and I explained, as a kid, I articulated the hypocrisy that I saw in the church and how I was so angry that they were judging my mother and judging me because and I told them, I said, we went on that trip, and them kids was having sex and getting high, and I don't do none of that. They was looking at me like I was weird. Because I wasn't doing any of that. So I never forgot that hypocrisy. It turned me off for decades.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
But and I just share that story just to lean into what Mike, you were saying.
Mm-hmm. 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 So Mike, with what he just shared, Mike, what would you say to an older man that witnesses something like that? And because of that, the hypocrisy has turned him off.
Well, I eventually kind of found my way back, but I know answer that. But Kate, you know what I think?
There's other men that feel the way you feel.
Oh no, that's true. So if Mike, let's do this. Speak to not just the adult men my age or your age, but speak to that kid that was 11 or 12, like I was.
Right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I can do that easily because the first church that I went to, we couldn't take communion, we couldn't do things either if we weren't baptized. So there was this separation of like status through being baptized. And for me, it was like, well, once I understood what being baptized even meant, it was like, well, that's to be transformed. And getting under the water doesn't make you transform. What you choose in your heart in that moment does. So getting under that water, it don't even matter. Like that's not I'm not gonna say my generation. I can say my generation. I don't know but I can say a lot of my generation, they believe because of what they were taught and because it was taught so religiously and not effectively, they think that this doesn't have to be clean as long as you get in that water. And
now let me pause you there, Mike.
Not the case.
Christy, this is why I'm pausing him. Because I want to go back to what you said, Mike. It was so important. And I love the way you explained it. Because I've never had anybody really, and you explained it in such a thorough but simple way. And I shared this with my mother. In my mind, we're talking about an 11 or 12-year-old boy's mind. I thought that, and because I felt I wasn't ready because I felt that if I got baptized, I was supposed to be perfect. And I'm like, no, I don't know if I can be perfect. So I didn't want to, my thing was, well, God, I don't want to lie, and I don't want to lie to God, and I don't know if I can be perfect. So I'm not ready to be baptized because I had basically, the way I had internalized and interpreted what had been explained to me, I felt that once you went in that water, you were supposed to be perfect. And so that's why when we went on this trip and I saw these other kids who had been baptized, getting high and having sex, I'm like, whoa, hold on. It really threw me off. I said, what is this? I'm like, oh, I'm going to hell? That didn't make sense. I'm not doing any of that. But I'm going to hell because I'm not baptized, but they're not, and they're doing all that. So the way you explained it, Mike, just say that again. That was so eloquently and perfectly explained. Going in the water doesn't necessarily affect the heart. I'm paraphrasing, so I don't want to ruin what you said because you said it in such a masterful way.
No, that's exactly. It's even a revelation, God. I want to get baptized again one day, and for me, it's going to represent a new season in my life. Not necessarily for repentance, not necessarily to ensure that I'm going to go to heaven, because it does not. That's and that wasn't taught either. They didn't break that down. They didn't break that down. A lot of people really believe, well, as long as you confess one time and you get under the water, God is always gone. It just don't work that way. Your heart has to be clean. Even if you repent with your tongue, it don't matter, depending on what you got in your heart, man. So and on for everybody else, I would like to apologize on behalf of the church for all of these false doctrines and religious things that were placed in y'all at young ages, because it does affect you mentally when you get older. And for what it's worth, you can affect somebody else in a negative way now. So we don't even realize how passing down trauma from trauma, because really it was I don't want to go too far off the edge.
No,
but
dude, you could look. You go as far as you want to, man.
Us finding Christ through slavery, it freed some people because it was an outlet, but it also enslaved some people. So I can be honest and admit that is still affecting us today. The forcefulness of it all, and it was really the guilt and trauma of the Caucasians who could not access God the way we could through our hearts at that time. So they put all these religious things on us. You got to do this. You got to do that. It's almost like today where we're so talented and gifted, but they make us go to school to do things. And it's like, it's these systems that were put in place because they couldn't do things naturally. So we adopted a lot. And you and I spoke on the phone, and you were talking about the westernized Christianity. And
oh, no, wait, hold on, Mike. So Chrissy, he's being nice. Now you already know what I call it. this racist remix version of Christianity. White Christian nationalism.
I know what you saying.
Which ain't got nothing to do with Christianity at all, because I always pop their brain with this, Kay. And I told Mike, so to all you good Christian folk, I have one simple question. Do you, since you are, y'all Bible scholars and you go to Bible study every Wednesday, and don't know, like I said, you're reading this racist remix version of Christianity. Do you know where Christianity originated from? And then I say, Google Coptic Christianity, Google Ethiopia. Now, and then, because they ain't gonna let you take it out of the country, but take a trip over there and ask to just take a look at like that Coptic Christian Bible in Ethiopia. So if you really about this life, if you really about this Christian life, well, let's get to the source. Let's get to the origin source, which that's the conversation that a lot of folks might think. It just make their head explode. They get mad. It's like, listen, don't get mad at me, but don't say. Be careful. They say that the tongue has the power of life and death. So if you let's speak something out of your mouth, make sure you know what you're talking about before you say it. So and like you said, especially if you are teaching or you consider that you setting an example, then you got a responsibility to make sure that you know the full truth. Because if you're teaching a lie or a remix version that's rooted in control, hatred, and racism, because you were just talking about something about systems. These systems were created for control. These systems were created for a small handful of people to have social, economic, and political power. And it wasn't us, because our ancestors were brought here to generate, and what we did, generate wealth, which made America the wealthiest nation in the world, rooted in an economy that was based on slavery, cotton and all that. So, it's Friday, so we won't get too heavy, but I'm just to what Mike was saying. So, but if you profess to really believe something, and whatever it is, you would think you want to have an understanding. Like if you want to be a doctor, you got to go to school, you got to go to med school, you got to do residency. If you want to be a lawyer, you got to go to law school, you got to pass the bar. Each state has their own version. So you've got to study and know exactly what you're talking about if you want to be in a position of authority, especially to teach and influence the minds of other people. So I didn't mean to get too heavy, Mike, but you spot on, brother. Wise beyond your years. Okay, so now let's have some fun. Mike, if you wanted to kind of put a ball on that, I just wanted to give you the last word.
I was just basically, I wanted to just kind of make it clear, like, everyone has freedom waiting on them somewhere. And the best thing about, like, you know, as much as flaws I can point out about the church, man, I have to remember it built me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of the negativity that I saw, I kind of have a debt that I feel like I owe to the church. Even if I wasn't like spiritual, I would still mentally have this debt of like, man, like, I was able to come here, mess up. And everyone doesn't have, and I had to realize everyone did not have that kind of playground as a kid. Like, I had a playground that was a church. So, but I challenge people to find a church for them, because you'll become a kid again. Naturally, it doesn't matter at what age, it doesn't matter at what time. If you go to that church and you don't, a lot of people try to jump into ministry and titles and let me get on the usher board, and sometimes churches even push that on you. But I think if you just go and you just, you know, maybe even find, I don't want to say cliques, but you'll find some people, man, that'll pour into you. And I really believe that it's going to come to a day where people are going to run to the church again. I do believe that times are going to get so crazy that we aren't going to have a choice but to lean on each other. But the key is to remember that we are the church first. So when they run to the church, they should run to your house, your job, wherever you at. It don't got to be the four walls. So as long as we take that with us, for the believers that's watching, make sure y'all take the church with y'all where y'all go, because you are the church. That's it.
And no, listen, we're not through, because you said something that's so important. You were talking about if you go visit a church, you know, look for it, not cliques. This is what I'll say to that, Mike. Spirits connect. And Christy and I talk about that all the time. Like spirits will connect. But you don't have to be in a physical building, a church. Spirits connect. So your spirit will connect with another spirit that has the spirit of compassion and generosity, empathy, compassion, a spirit of humanitarianism, a spirit of wanting to help and heal and assist people. That, because you can't fake that. That's the beautiful thing about, you know, and I tell people, you know, a lot of times when they hear spirit, they think about the, you know, religion, formal. It's some like you know, old movies you see, like what a ghost look like, and it's amazing. I'm laughing because, well, the Western world, boy, these colonizers did a hell of a job. Even with, like, back in the day, a ghost. Why did the ghost have to have a white sheet on? What was that? Right, reinforcing that brainwashing. But the point I wanted to add on to Spirits Connect, when you talked about the church, think about our ancestors. They could be killed. They could have been murdered. They could have been lynched. If the enslaver, I'm trying to be nice here, the enslavers found out that our ancestors were reading. Now, they didn't get to have their own formal churches. They would sit under trees or at the banks of a river. But we have been indoctrinated to where, you know, structure, and you got to go to this building, and to the point you were making about Mike with young people, and I see it because it's something I've always leaned into that, and I think that was a part of seeing the hypocrisy, but knowing that I've always had, because my family's like this, a spirit of generosity, a spirit of compassion and empathy, a spirit of wanting to help anybody. If I see somebody that needs help, it's just my default. My spirit will just kick in and like, I want to help this person. I don't care who they are, what they look. If I see someone that needs help, that part of my spirit gets activated, and automatically I want to help that person. But I guess the point I really wanted to lean into is, and I know Kay, you and I talked about it. Part of that indoctrination and some of the damage has been done because, you know, instruction can be good, but it can be bad. But well, you got to be in this building, and you got to. No. The church is like you said, Mike. I'm just really long-winded way of saying church is in you because it's really your spirit. I think if we focus more, y'all help me out here and get your take. I think if we focus more on the spiritual part of us, because religion is that's man tried to somehow and become the broker and the middleman for God. God don't need no middleman. He didn't need no broker. I don't need y'all to remix it, interpret it, and religion and all these different. No, get the fuck out the way. My spirit, I connect with God, and God that's a whole different conversation. And it's Friday. No, we're going there. But I just think it's so important that if people just focused on really being in touch with their spirit, which is energy. Because to go back when I was talking about, when people think about spirits, they think about, some little ghost flying around with a white sheet on. Well, we all have a spirit of generosity, compassion, a spirit of evil, a demonic spirit, a spirit of hate or big, whatever it is. And all our spirit is just energy. For those who don't even believe in any kind of we all release energy. There's some people, here's the analogy. Some people can walk into a room right now where you are, Mike, and the room gets lighter. Literally, it's like they walk in, they're like a ray of sunshine, and you can feel it, and their presence releases endorphins in your body and makes you feel good and happy and just in a really good place. Some people can walk in a room and it's like somebody hit the light switch and it's dark and they walk in the room and your spirit is like, wait a minute, it's like spider sense. You can feel the tension. It's just a negative energy. It's like, your spirit ain't right. Literally, I know I can. It's like, it's like an alarm going off. It's like, what is it? Did I just lick my finger and stick it in the AC outlet? What? Oh, no. So, but I'm seeing you I know, Kay, you can relate to it. So I want you to speak on it. But Mike, I'm seeing you laughing and nodding your head. So I want to let you speak on that.
Who, me or?
Yeah. I want you, I was going to let Christy go, but I want you to speak on that because I saw you nodding your head and laughing when I was using that analogy.
No. Listen, that is a fact, man. I feel like we have to gauge energy first before anything. I feel like naturally babies do. I mean, we don't know. Sometimes you can't even tell when a baby is, maybe constipated or when they feel the energy around them. And, that's why I don't let my kids go anywhere. But that's another conversation for another day.
Kate, go ahead. Chime in. Kate, what were you going to say?
I'm just over here soaking up everything that Mike is sharing, and even what you were just sharing, G, because it is more about spirituality than religion. I know that as I've gotten older, I had to come away from the religious part of it because I don't even know how else to say it. It didn't feel right to me anymore. It just got to a point for me where I was like, I was taught this. I'm supposed to be, on the choir. I'm supposed to be active in youth ministry. I'm supposed to be, in church because they used to call it devotion back in my day. Before you had Sunday school, it was devotion. Okay. And I remember, a lot of the things that I saw, a lot of the things that were taught to me, I was like, okay. So this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to go to devotion. We're supposed to go to Sunday school. We're supposed to sit in Sunday service. Okay, I got it.
And first Sunday, which went forever.
Forever. And I was like, when y'all bringing out the snacks? Because wait a minute, this is. And don't let it be a Sunday where there was nothing going on in the educational building. Don't let there be. This is a Sunday. Ain't no plate. You can't go get no chicken plate or fish plate at the service because they're not doing that today. I remember Sunday we got her early because it was Super Bowl Sunday, and the following Sunday, a member of the church got up and she went off. She was like, "I never thought I'd see today. We get out early for a football game. You're going backward." That is like a running joke in our family because she did a whole dancing movement and like she was upset. But I was like, wow, she's got a point. We really got out early because the big game was coming on. But it's like now I think I'm at a point now where it's more about being spiritual. It's about accepting different levels of myself and how that relates to who God is. And I really appreciate what you were saying, Mike, about yeah, just because you get in that water and range off and holiness, that don't make you holy. It don't. You can range off. You can range off in it, but it does not mean that you are now clean because it's creating me a clean heart. And a lot of people just hearts just be dirty, just be ashy, a little murky. It don't work. It don't work. You are so right about that. I really appreciate. I wanted to start right there. We are supposed to. I'm sorry, Geno. I'm sorry because we were supposed to.
Kate, Friday, we go wherever the spirit leads us. No,
I know.
No pun intended. Yep.
Yeah, correct. But the spirit really did lead us, down this path because we did not get your origin story, but coming like my segue, if you will. So, being that you were brought up in the church, you are clearly a believer. How does that factor into your music story? How does that factor in with what you do as part of the entertainment industry?
Wow. So I think I grew up exposed to a lot, and not all just bad things, but like, a lot of some of my friends who I grew up with are Grammy Award winners right now. So we were around so many talented people. And I would say even my dad's group Focus, they were a major group around here. So the expectation on me was so high. So because of that, and I'm glad I get to tell this story, I rejected gospel music at first completely. 16 years old, I'm with my friends in Appian Way. We rapping, and mind you, we cussing in our songs. So I'm not, and this is mixtape music, so I'm not assuming my people gonna hear it. But we kind of got a little motion, and next thing you know, we're performing at high school parties. So now there's videos. I got my shirt off. People throw. I got my shirt off. I'm rapping. I had hair at the time. I'm cutting up, right? And now videos are surfacing on Facebook, and now my people are seeing like, oh, this is what you do, like, because I wasn't really singing in. I sung in church when I was a little kid, and then when I was a teenager, I sung a little bit with Chandler Moore, like a little bit, and then, but my dad, he always wanted me to. He never wanted me to become church. Like he wanted me to have a life outside of this. So he would always tell me, Mike, go play football, go focus on this, go do other things, be a kid. Like, cause some of the kids, the church is all they knew. So by the time they get older, like they're so like disconnected from the world, but they only know church culture. And for me, like I said, I was into all the different music. It wasn't until this is actually my first gospel project. It is not even out yet. So I haven't even really put a gospel project out yet. I got like 7 R&B projects out, and they've got millions of streams. Like it was doing well, but for some reason, God would not let me get past that hump yet. And I was like, well, I'm not talking about nothing bad, because by this time I matured, so I stopped. I slowed down the cussing a little bit, and then now it's more about love, and now it's more about different things, hope, black stuff, a bunch of different things. But God wouldn't let me, and I do think that one day I'll be able to. We were talking, one day I'll be able to do R&B again, but God wouldn't let me do it with any hurt in my heart, or anger towards the church, because then it would be rebellion. And then now this music I'm putting out is, even though it sounds, pure, it's still from a rebellious place. So that, when you understand that the intentions of the music you produce affects the frequency that people receive,
Yes.
that changes everything. Like, it doesn't matter the words, what I'm saying, it don't even matter. What my heart feels in that moment, those intentions. And although I had cleaned up my music and did all of this, it still was rooted from, I ain't doing this because y'all not about to make me sing gospel like my dad. Y'all not about to make me get no choir. Y'all not about to make me get no group. Turn around now, I got a group. I got all these things, but I found my own way. And now today I can say after my second gospel single I put out at least, like I said, 6 independent albums, and then maybe 3 with my friend Buddha. Shout out to him. So that's about 10 projects already by age 22, I think 23 at the time. And then God broke my laptop, my microphone, everything shut down, and all of a sudden I started writing songs on the piano, and it was like I was at church again. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. And now I'm trying to write R&B. I'm trying, but it's turning into songs about God. And it was like, it was so natural. It was like, it was the only thing that came out of me. So now, but then it also was my best work. So I'm like, where was this whole time? So now I'm walking into the gospel lane, but I feel like God, he'll let me go back, for love and for R&B. But my heart just had to be in the right place first. And I had to be freed from the judgment. I had to be freed from the idea of proving people wrong. And once I got freed from all that, man, he gave me songs that I got hundreds of songs that I haven't even done anything with, man.
So, Mike, that's funny because when we talked about 3 weeks ago at the anniversary celebration for Positive Vibes, I know I said a lot to you, but in regards to you doing R&B and gospel music, do you remember what I told you? What was that?
You told me that you could see me doing both.
Right
and you
there.
said that you could see me
Right there.
Getting it, reaching everybody. And I honestly believe that, man. I do. I really do.
No, you should believe it because it was placed on my heart. The Spirit placed it on my heart. And I told you that. I said, I'm speaking to you, but I want you to understand the words that you are hearing are not coming from me, from Geno. But for whatever reason, I know, because Christy, like I said, knows too well. When the Spirit put, because I usually preface whatever I'm going to say with the Spirit put this on my heart. And I prefaced what I told you with the Spirit put this on my heart to say, listen, you got the gift to do both. So don't what I even knew, but my spirit was connecting with your spirit, and just the conflict that you just spoke on, I without me knowing that, it's something, or God
you didn't even know,
that,
man. You didn't even know.
and didn't know, but God wanted you to get that. It's like, no, let go of that conflict. He gave you the gift to do it all. So why limit yourself? If you sit down and because R&B, once again, R&B is a label that black people didn't create. Colonizers created it so they could label it and market it, but limit its marketability or sales appeals. Oh, well, this is back before that. They used to call it race music. Back in the day, they wouldn't even put like a black artist on the album cover. So that's a whole different conversation. So you got the gift to do it all, and I see and hear it all. As a matter of fact, so Chrissy, he and I had this conversation. I was talking about. I told him that the times that we're living in now, I said some artists, they're going to create a project that's going to really speak to the times that we're living in right now. And it's going to be people, I hate the word, but people will call it revolutionary. It won't be revolutionary. It'll just speak to the time. And the album that I use as an example, okay, was Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. People say, oh, that now it was a revolutionary. Berry Gordy didn't even want Marvin Gaye to release the album. He thought it would offend white people, and Marvin Gaye was like, listen, this is what I see. I think he had a brother that came back from Vietnam, people he knew. So all the ills, poverty and crime and the war. And if you pulled out the liner notes, to the songs like Inner City Blues, what's going on, Mercy Mercy Me, and if you read the lyrics without knowing it, somebody just gave you like a notebook with those lyrics in there, and you'd be like, damn, this is what's going on right now. Those lyrics 50 years later are speaking to this moment. But with some artists who is in this moment, in this current moment, that's got the platform, like Mark, is going to speak to that, and it's going to have an impact, because we did have music in the 80s. We had Public Enemies, and we had the KRS Ones and Boogie Down production. But that's another conversation, because the industry didn't want that positivity coming out, and they didn't want us to grow and educate ourselves. So it's not ironic that we went from Public Enemy to NWA, and no shade to NWA, but it's a reason that all of a sudden you didn't hear Fight the Power and KRS-One and Headed for Self-Destruction. You didn't hear no more of that. You're bitches and hoes and all the F the police. So it's not an accident that is what the industry promoted, which is a whole different conversation. Yes. So all right, so Mike, finish giving us your, like Kay was saying, finish
origin
giving us
story.
Your origin story, man.
Origin story came up in the church. Like I said, started off R&B, rap. So instantly, I already believe that I'm like, I'll say this: gospel music and Christian music is 10 years behind. And the only thing that they're ahead in is instrumentation. The musicians in the church culture, they run the world. But the songwriting, the melodies, the even right now with Christian rap, I cringe at it sometimes, because I'm like, oh, Chance the Rapper did that 2018. And for me, it's like, it's just hitting now in the Christian industry. So now the numbers are going crazy, but it's like, oh, they've been in a bubble. And I don't think God meant for it to be like that for us. I always thought that since the 70s, when you got Andre Crouch in them, and they shifted the sound. Everybody followed them. So that's when that's when the gospel ran the industry. R&B, Jodeci, Devontae Swing, all these cats.
Well, hold on. Wait, hold on, Mike. I'm only pausing you. Stay right there. But I'm pausing you. So let's expand this. I don't know how far we want to go back. We can go back to Sam. I can just name any great singer, especially R&B, and I will show you somebody that had gospel sang in some black church at some point. What? Sam Cooke. You name David Ruffin, Teddy Pendergrass. We talking about Marvin Gaye, Al Green, Aretha. Come on now. The influence that Mahalia Jackson had.
Yeah.
Who could have, and Mahalia got so big, she was, and Mike, you growing up in the church, but it's funny, because I've never heard Mahalia framed in this way. Because I grew up, my grandmother was deeply rooted in her faith, but I remember, growing up in Chicago, and Mahalia, eventually she left New Orleans and she, lived in Chicago. But Mahalia Jackson was a gospel singer, but her reach and her popularity transcended. It was bigger. Even if you never went to church, you knew who Mahalia Jackson was. So I just paused you, because it's like, and I know I'm missing some names, but just.
That's where it started.
Yeah,
that's
Aretha.
Or at least
Sam
that's what
Cooke.
we can document it there at least. Yeah.
Yep. And it led to, like you said, Jodeci, and I'm leaving. I know I'm leaving out so many, but just think Whitney. Just think about the Patty. Jennifer Hudson. I could go on and on. That grew up singing in somebody's church at some point in their young life, and then Howard Hewitt. A lot of people don't. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and finish it. I didn't mean it. I just had to pause.
No, you're good, man. You're good, because I feel like a lot of people need to be educated on the history of it all as well.
And that's why I wanted to do it. And I said, let's take it back. Y'all you know, we just talking about Jodeci, but Google Sam Cooke.
Yeah, it goes back even further, man. But if you see the difference of AI wouldn't have been able to creep in that generation. The reason AI has been able to creep in this generation in music is because we lost the feel. So when we lost the feel of the music, when it became about putting it out, we got to have 3 albums out by this year. When it became about the numbers, that's when we were able to let computers and everything else to creep in. So we're now in the Christian industry, the number one streaming artist is an AI artist. And to me is a major contradiction in that, because how is the number one streaming artist in the Christian industry, where you're supposed to feel the most, coming from a computer? And I'm not saying that some of these songs people can't write, but this specific artist, these songs are written by the computer. They own this label, and they have this artist, and she is, well, not she, it has literally taken over all the numbers. But I think, and I'm gonna get back to, my origin, but I think once we get past the numbers, we'll be able to get back to that area where it's like, man, don't put out what's perfect. Put out what you need, with, like you said, for the time. Right now, what we need right now, because music is all about that. But to my origin story,
that's I'm only pausing you again because I want to interject something that's so important. And I'm pausing you because you said something profound, and I just want to make sure that we pause for a point of emphasis. Because I know there was an R&B AI artist. What was the name? Something Monet. I forget. I can't remember her name. But it was on R&B radio. Now, this AI artist hasn't done it. But the secret sauce is this, Mike and K-Love. This AI artist may have the numbers now. It's not gonna last. This AI artist is not gonna have that. And the secret sauce is the feel. The secret sauce is the feel. AI couldn't, now, somebody could take the lyrics of Marvin Gaye's, that whole album, and download that information into some data center and into some AI system. Because I mean, AI only knows what we teach it, but it can't teach spirit, it can't teach soul, it can't teach feel. And that's the secret sauce. That's why when we're talking, I said, I said, Mike, I saw you as an artist that's capable. I could see you basically coming out with a project that really speaks to the times that we are living in right now, and do it in, because the genius with Marvin, what he did with it, just the titles, Mercy, Mercy Me, What's Going On, Inner City Blues, like 3 words, real simple. And the lyrics wasn't, if you just go back and look at all the lyrics, it was poetic, but it was simple, but it was profound, because the efficiency, what made it efficient, because he was speaking from the heart. So he didn't have to be long-winded. He just put on paper from pen what was in his heart.
Yeah, it was real.
And turned it into, and you were a songwriter. You understand that.
Yeah, man, it's a real pleasure to be able to have this gift to express not only my thoughts, but what everybody else is thinking. So and I think you'll really like my album that's coming. It's called Saul. Not Paul, but Saul, the man that everybody talks about as the Christian persecutor. I named my album after him. My grandma said, "Why you name it Saul, not Paul?" I said, because we're all Saul. And at the end of the day, even as Paul, he's still Saul. He's the same person. And we see the manifestation of the prophet Saul, but he was still that. He's been the prophet Saul since he's been the prophet Paul since he was Saul. He's been that. So yeah, I'll definitely be excited to talk about that a little later.
Well, good. Well, go ahead and finish your origin story.
Yeah, man. So, came up doing that. Wanted to go to the NFL. That was my dream. I'm talking about every day, 2 workouts, went to college, walked on to USC Carolina.
Okay.
Things didn't really go how I wanted it to go.
What position did you play?
Outside linebacker, state champion, Fort Dorchester 2016.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, so you were outside linebacker then?
Yeah, I was middle and outside then.
Okay,
So yeah, I
so
was.
well, were they looking at you as a safety or still a linebacker in college?
So by college, they wanted to move me more to safety a little bit. So they were like, "We want you to cut a little bit, cut some weight, and then get a little faster." Blah blah blah. So I did the work, and I know it had to just been God's timing because the player that they were telling me was going to be on the roster and I would have to just sit that year, he ended up leaving the school like months later. But I had already by that time had been like, man, like I'm about to lock in on my music because this is when my music started kind of. I had to been like 19, 20. So it started. I couldn't do nothing else. I like it was like, yeah, this is it. This is it for me. And at that time, I was working at the State House for Senator Marlon Kimpson. So I was always balancing, like I would have to work all day and then I would walk over the hill in Columbia, back to Bates Dorm, shout out Carolina, and lock into my music. So that, and I would say, and then around that time, that's when I also started facing, I guess, in my songs today, I say, talking about facing my demons. In my college years, I was around Travis Green, Chandler Moore, and the whole forward city of Columbia. But I'm around these people every day. But my close best friends don't go to church. So I had like two separate lives where I'm with these people every day at Travis Green's house. I mean, like every day, this is what we're doing. And then that night, Mike, let's go to woo woo. So it was like I'm in it. I'm like, okay, but really, I was authentically in it. So I was like, I'm gonna pull the best out of all of this. If I'm here, I'm gonna be here. So I pulled the reality of life from my friends who didn't go to church, the reality, the things that make us human, the things that we need to focus on to be better people. And then on the other end, I'm doing such radical things like I'll never forget it. Chandler, he was like, Mike, if you want to get married to Jordan one day, he said, how like you really want to get married to her? And this is the girl I'm married to now. And I said, yeah. He was like, call every girl on your phone right now and tell them you're done. Every single one. I was like 19, 20. And I'm like, all right. So, but I had that kind of faith at that age, and I don't like how I kind of did it, but I called everybody. I was like, listen, I want to get married one day, so maybe we don't need to do this no more. I kind of want to take my life seriously, and at that time, I didn't really understand. Like, I even did a fast called the Saul fast at that age, and it was no eating or drinking anything for 3 days, like no water, no nothing, and at that time, I didn't know that God was building my endurance for now. But at that time, it was like, oh, I did this and God kept me strong. I was still going to class, still working out, still playing football. I had not eaten, had not drinking anything, and I was still fine. But today, you know, I can say now I'm put out my first gospel album. Coincidentally, it's called Saul. And that was the fast I did, the Saul to Paul fast, coincidentally. And now this is where we are now.
All right, this is gonna blow you away. And Kay, on my grandmother and on Gene and Conway Jones. Mike just told you the story about his queen that he's with now. One of his buddies challenged him. It's like, if you really feel you want to marry, call all your girls in your phone and tell them that you're gonna break it up. Now I didn't have anybody prompt me, but when I first met Damaris, I told my mother this. I said, listen, I'm probably gonna have Team Geno. And literally, when I met Damaris, there were 5 women who were in my life, and I had one that had just, this is early '90s. She just moved to Atlanta from Chicago. She was a nurse at 2 hospitals. She had just bought a home, and and we talking about in the early '90s. She was probably making at least 150,000 or more between those 2 jobs. She had just bought a home when black folks had just moving out to Lithonia in suburban Atlanta. I'm talking about the early '90s. She wanted me to you can just come look for a job in radio, come to Atlanta. I got 2 cars. I had somebody in Atlanta, somebody in Pittsburgh, so total of 5. And one by one, I'd say, listen, And it was so heavy on my spirit and my heart. I said, look, I can't lie to you, especially like the sister in Atlanta, because she was like really in love. And I'm like, listen, because the weird thing is I had been crushing on her hard. We went to the same high school. She was a little younger than me. And here it is, I had been crushing on her so hard, and she would come in and out. And finally, she like mad in love, like, look, I got you. I want to be with you. You can move to Atlanta. I was like, I couldn't do that. I said, I care about you too much to lie to you. And it's not in my heart. And I said, this is not, I just said, no, I'm just going to move on. You deserve better than that. And basically, I did the same thing with 5 people. And the funny thing is, Damaris has heard the story afterwards. Damaris didn't even know about it. I mean, I had just met, Damaris had probably been in my life maybe a couple months. And I just, one by one, I was like, nah, can't do this no more.
Yeah.
That was just, so when you see, I'm sitting here laughing. That story was so funny. How it happens that way.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It was like a conviction. I knew. It was like I knew. And I've been with her since I was 14. We met at 14. But it was like, you know, you go to college. We separated a little bit when she went to a different school and I was in a different school. Then all of a sudden, coincidentally, she ends up getting a full scholarship to play basketball in Columbia sophomore year. So she ends up moving to Columbia. And it's like, oh, and we're not even together at this time when she's moving there. It's like, but I'm like, you're here. I'm in Columbia. We both from Charleston. You went to North Carolina now. You get a scholarship from a random call one day. Somebody was just like, hey, she wasn't even playing basketball no more. She played in high school, did North-South, and then went to North Carolina Central, got a call from an old coach her sophomore year and was like, I got a scholarship for you at CIU, Columbia International. And I'm in Columbia at the time, and I'm like, you're coming here? And everything changed, man. It just, that to this day, I'll say, man, the challenge that men face when it comes to, when we find that woman, it's like, it challenges you. It challenges everything about you. And I'll tell somebody, that's how you know. If it challenges every thought you have, the food you eat, different things, that's how you know.
Listen, if it makes you call like all these women you got in your life,
nice people, man.
This goes like, hey, look, you take my car, moving to the crib, sex is great. When you just start making them calls like, hey, listen, I can't do this no more.
Yeah.
And wait, when it's unsolicited, it wasn't like the
man.
marriage, you know, because we hadn't been together that long. I was just like,
man.
no, man, this is something different. I'm
With
like,
no pressure, man. It was just,
yeah. And the funny thing, K-Love, is the reaction. Because it was like, you joking, right? Really? You know, it was like this pause and like stunned look like, really? But I was like, but they could tell and they could hear it in my voice and feel it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yo, listen. And like I said, I cared about it too much, especially, obviously I cared about all of them enough not to lie, because I could have very easily I could have rolled that thing out.
I cared about all of them enough
But my heart was like, no, this ain't, you just, because I wouldn't, the way I felt, no matter whatever the attraction was, it just wasn't, it wasn't there. And I was like, no, I can't, because I didn't want that karma coming back on me. And, you know, when you know somebody loves you, if you don't feel the same way, you feel you're obligated. Because if you misuse that karma will come back on you. And that
you got a chance to fix it. If you got a chance to make it right and turn it off after you done had your fun or did whatever, once you notice what it is and you don't do something about it, that thing can come back and get you, man.
Yeah. So I didn't want no part of that. So Kay got this shock look. What do you want to say, Kay? Because she got this like, wait a minute, how both y'all like ages apart, but how y'all got this same part of your story?
No, it's not shock. It's definitely more of a thing. I'm beaming with pride for both Jordan. Is that what you said your wife's name is? Jordan? And for Damaris, because that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Mike, what you might not know about me, I'm waiting Oh, my Prince Charming, my knight in shining aluminum foil. I'm waiting on him. I'm waiting on him. So it's like I love hearing. First of all, I love to see black men talk about love. I love that. I love that, and I love to see black men say, and two men, like you said, two different. We're talking two different demographics of brothers that said, I knew when I knew, and this is the sacrifice I made, and that's beautiful, and it's so rare now. And it's like, as a single woman, I was married once upon a time. He wasn't it, but that's all right. But the thing is, knowing, just to hear this, it gives me hope. So my look probably did look a little off, but it was definitely a thing where I'm like, this is beautiful because it's still possible.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
it didn't look off to me. But here's the funny thing, okay? And Mike, listen. And now Mike's situation is different. When I made those moves, like I said, Damaris and I had just met. So it wasn't no guarantee that at the time, I had no idea. Here we are, two daughters, 30 plus years late. I didn't have a vision for none of that. I just knew it was like,
That's
hey,
it.
listen, this something different here. And I'm like, I couldn't I couldn't keep, being pimp or die, team Geno. I don't know what it was. It was just something about Damaris. I'm like, wow. I said, no, whatever was in me, I felt that I wanted to focus all that energy to her. And I knew I couldn't, I could have, but I would have been lying. I would have been lying to them. And really, I would have been.
Gotcha.
And when I say cheat, I'm not just talking about it in the physical, sexual sense. I'm just talking about from a spiritual or from a standpoint of somebody's heart. And I don't believe in playing with anybody because that karma
Yeah,
will come
man.
back. So I was like, no, no, let me just no. I'm just this is as far as it's going. I had no idea, but I'm tapping out. I gotta tap out because you all, and I remember telling this one sister, I don't want to name check her because she could be, but actually I told two of them. I said, you all deserve better than this because they were sweet. They would give me anything, and I'm like, no, no, you don't deserve this.
Yeah, man.
You deserve to love somebody, and
Even
for
if
them
you
to
trying to ruin what you deserve, I'm
yeah
not gonna let you on my
yeah
account.
yeah right.
Wow.
That was
Wow.
They deserve to have somebody love them back the way they would love somebody, or as I eventually learned with Damaris, they deserve to have somebody to love them the way that they wanted to or needed to be loved. And so I knew that wouldn't. So I was like, no, I can't do this charade.
yeah.
I mastered it. Like I said, my motto. There was a time I wasn't always married. Pimp or die was my motto, my credo. But I was like, no, and it just God shut it down. I did not see the Damaris coming at all.
Gotcha.
I
Gotcha. Well, I think it's beautiful for both of y'all. I think that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So Mike, let's
Seriously.
talk some more. Talk some more about your music, but also you got another day job as an elected official,
Yeah, man.
being elected here, one of our council members in the city of North Charleston. So what an incredible. You got a hell of a resume, dude. You got a hell of a bio, really, for a young brother. It's amazing. But yeah, just kind of give us an update story with your music. I know you got some exciting things coming up. I know you and I talked off the record about some real exciting things. So just kind of give us an update on, and if you got some news to share with us in terms of what you're going to be doing with your music or anything else.
Yeah.
You've got the platform.
For sure, man. So, man, becoming an elected official was not, believe it or not, was not on my checkoff list, man. This was not something I wanted. I'm not really the one to be. And this is, I guess God does things for a reason. I am naturally not the one who wants to be in the public eye. When we spoke, I told you I'm a songwriter. I like to play instruments. Um, that I'm a visual creative artist. I shoot videos. People don't even know that. Like I love things behind the scenes. But me being an elected official, um, what forced me to step out of my shell was having to speak out on things. And it was like, I would sit there and I would sit in meetings, I would just be quiet, man. And even now, I'm very slow to speak because I realize that a lot of people just speak just to be heard and don't really have nothing to say. And it wastes time in our meetings. Like we don't have other things to do. And I realize, hey, people have their own, personal things. But for me, I've always been one to speak when there's something to say. So now being an elected official, um, I've always been in the public eye, so that part was easy. Like as far as my granddad being a pastor, my dad being this, so I've always had people, checking for me to live a squeaky clean life. As far as things you're getting caught out here doing or whatever. So that part wasn't hard, but I think the hardest part was my peers looking at me differently, as if oh, we can't run Mike. We can't Mike.
Right.
He
done
Mike,
sold out to the band now.
You know what I'm saying? And but then I got the older generation because I'm the youngest on the council by 30 plus years. Well, with one other person, but other than that, it's a large disconnect. And so it's like I didn't have a nothing to fit in. So I had to stand on my own. And then once I did that, and I think once I first time, and a shout out to Mayor Burgess, I love him because he's a very genuine person. And
Yes.
I think once I don't even just speak out to just anybody because sometimes you call out things to certain people, it can't get done. So you're just stressing yourself out for nothing. But when I had my opportunity to say something to Mayor Burgess, and I said something I ain't gonna repeat what I said, but but I went off and it was in front of everybody, and I just that day freed me and allowed me to be a better musician. It translated to my music. It translated to my writing. It translated to my freedom of things that I didn't care because even running, I was writing things that I wanted to put in my campaign. But my dad and everybody was like, Mike, you sure you want to like put this song out and things like this? And but now that I see where I'm at, I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm not here to do the 1-2, the kiss a baby, or for street signs and like I'm not here for that. I know I'm here because I don't fit in systems. And because I don't fit in a system, that means this system got to come down. I'm not here to blend. I don't know how long I'll be here, but it definitely wasn't on my checkoff list. So I'm definitely going to do what I came to do. So I can either get out because I can go be an artist completely or change the system and continue to go and continue to flow. But I'm playing it by ear. But it definitely translated to my music, and it just gave me a freedom to be bold because even though I'm making gospel music, my music convicts the church. My music isn't coming at the world. My music is for the people in the four walls who are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So now I'm in another system because now I'm doing gospel music, and then the church looking at me crazy because I'm saying stuff to them like, how you gonna judge somebody and you've been to hell 3 times? How are you? Or you're not in hell right now, so you can look at somebody different. That's what my gospel music is about. It's and it's not tearing down the church. It's building it up. It's holding us accountable. And now me being even as an elected official, some of these people are my aunties and uncles, man. So it blurs the lines where I've had to respect these people my whole life, but now realizing doing God's will is not about respect or disrespect. It's about doing it. So that's been the mix for that. But
So let me just
yeah.
on that. So what was and what is the strongest pull to be a public servant? Because one thing I've learned that they're politicians and public servants.
Yeah.
But politicians in the purest sense of the word are public servants. Now,
Yeah.
all of them don't understand that because their job is to serve themselves.
Yeah, the politic.
Right. But in its purest form, you are in a position, you've been put in a position by people who believe in you and see something in you and feel that you can be the conduit, you can be the vessel, not just to speak for them, but to make sure that you create and pass policy and laws or create a climate to improve not your life, their
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah. That's the main thing. that last thing you said, create a climate. I think that that's the portion of all of this that everyone forgets. It's if our work environment isn't even a safe space, we won't agree on this There has to be a certain amount of votes for anything to be passed. And if we aren't spiritually aligned, mentally aligned, if the environment is not polished, clean, or pure, we will not make the best decisions for these people. And for us to sometimes sit up there and know the power we have in our hands, and some people use it against people. It's I don't want to get into that. If you ever hear me call it out, you'll see it there. But I'm not, you know what I'm saying? But on this platform, I'm gonna keep it clean.
You don't
But
have to, man. Listen, you at home, you family. So trust me. I want you to be comfortable with saying or not saying whatever you want to say. You ain't gotta, cause I don't. So listen, if I don't, and it's my name on the show, so you family, so you have a blessing just to once again, Kay, tell them what is our motto? Tell the truth. What, Kay?
Shame the devil. I mean, say whatever's on say, it's on your chest. Go ahead and free yourself. Free
well,
yourself.
if I'm gonna free myself, I'm gonna tell y'all. I feel like God wanted me to do this to show everybody that they can do it. I feel like God has always used me as that in my life, where I've always been in spaces where it's like I'm so personable to my people, and they're like, Mike, I know you're not like them. So how did you even get here? And I was like, God put me here. I can't tell y'all nothing else. I decided to run 2 days before the deadline. I couldn't even campaign thoroughly. This was 2 days before. I could not campaign thoroughly. I had my baby, my newborn baby. At this time, I'm working from home because I got my baby at the house with me every day. So this is why I'm campaigning. I'm my car broke down. I was Ubering to neighborhoods to campaign. Nobody knows this is my first time telling people this. So where there was mission work and I couldn't be everywhere. I couldn't do photo ops. So people would try to put on me and be like, Mike, you're not doing enough. You're not. And I'm like, at the time, he said, Mike, I'm not about to waste your time. At this time, I'm also writing and producing a musical called The Hip Hop Grinch that we did in December. We get elected in November. So mind you, this is all while I'm in rehearsals during this 40 plus people production that we had 2 sold out shows, but this is all happening while I'm campaigning. So God was just stretching me and showing me that he calls the unqualified. And in my head, I was up against people who were doing it for 60 years, people who, were running. And I'm just like, how in the world is this 25-year-old young man going to, how is this like, what is this not, this don't even make sense. And God told me, he said, well, the savior being born in the world and not having a home doesn't make sense either. Being born in the main, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that a perfect man would be killed. That doesn't make sense. So I had to start seeing it through his lens. And then that's when I was able to find out who I really was and why I'm here. Because at first, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I almost resigned within my first year because it was, yeah, it was, the,
So
for
what kept
one,
you? What kept you? What kept you from? Yeah.
what kept me from
what was the
resigning?
impetus that kept you from resigning?
What kept me from resigning was realizing that regardless of what we can and can't do as an elected official, the influence I have is major as an elected official. So the influence, the connections, the people I can affect, the people I can talk to and plant powerful seeds in their ears. Where I'm talking to, Congressman Clyburn, and I snuck in that room. Well, I didn't sneak in that room. I got invited from Mayor Steve Benjamin at a situation where I actually got assaulted, and Mr. Benjamin was there, and I got assaulted by a council person. But Steve Benjamin was there and he saw the whole thing and he just took me under his wing and was like, man, the way you handled yourself. And it was a simple thing like that. The way I handled myself in a moment where anyone else would flip. Now he's invited me to private parties with, Jim Clyburn. But I'm able to talk about different things going on in my generation and inciting him on. So it's like, what got me to stay was realizing what I could do in those rooms. And I could affect the people who are affecting the world. I could talk to the people and drop gems and then this would also bring connections to my life. And now I can say, like, the best part about being a public servant is affecting the people even outside of policy. That's the best part about it.
I got a word for you. I got a synonym for you. I think you're gonna love it. Christy, or as a matter of fact, Kay, you know what I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna let you give him the word. You know exactly the word that's a synonym with influence that I spoke on you. You know, I thought you had to look like
impact?
you knew. Huh?
Are you talking about impact or what are you talking about? Oh,
Impact.
impact. Okay. Impact. Yeah,
Impact
definitely.
that you're having, Mike.
Well,
Yeah, God, he told me it was
I
about
tell
the
him
reach.
he's impressive. I'm sorry. I know you're not trying to impress me. I am so impressed by you. Like, seriously. Like you are amazing. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell him myself. I know, I've heard of your name, I've heard of your music background, but I never heard an note, not a note. I never heard an note that you sung, I've never heard an bar that you spit. So I do hope that when you wrap this up, please tell me where I can go and listen so that I can get caught up, because now I'm behind. You were talking about, God, Christian music being behind. I'm behind. I'd like to get caught up. Help me out.
What a funny thing. So Kay, and I gotta call him on this. So Mike, I believe it, but humans are really complicated, and we have we're multi-dimensional. Mike said that he's a behind-the-scenes person. That he's really, I don't know if you used the word shy, but you almost implied there's a shyness. You're behind the scenes. You like to be behind the scenes, not out front. Am I understanding what you said right?
Yes, that's how I grew up, man.
So
yeah.
But here's the conflict. If you saw him perform, sing, and rap, you would be like, no, it wouldn't. It would throw all of that out the window. You'd be like, oh, that's bullshit. Because his stage presence is amazing. That's what said there's stardom written all over his spirit and his life. If you see him sing and rap, now this is not an exaggeration, and I told Mike this. The only other person when I saw him and I saw it twice. That's why it was affirmation. I saw it once, and for me, if I know it when I see it, just being in this industry, and it doesn't take me long to see it. And if I see it once, I'm like, but when I saw it twice, I'm like, that's why I had to stop him and tell him what I told him. But the comparison that I gave him, and it's very accurate, and you don't have to believe me. You have to see this young man perform live. Was Lauryn Hill. Somebody that can sing and rap. Yes. So how do you reconcile that? I really prefer to be behind the scenes, except for when I'm performing. When I'm on stage and I got that mic, it's like a switch.
I'll say it's got to be me being used.
Okay. No, say that again. I didn't want to step on what you said.
No, I feel like it's when I'm being used. Like I feel like it's like an outer body experience. Even when I'm speaking and saying certain things, even the city council, it's like I know God is using me right now, so I can hide behind Him. If I want to hide behind anybody in that moment, I can hide behind God.
Well, you
better say that.
You may be hiding behind God, but everybody can see you, and they can see your gift.
Yeah.
So you're not hiding well.
I got chills.
Instead of hiding, he's exposing and revealing your gift. So.
Yeah, man. And I think that's what people don't realize. The less you do and the more you let God do, the more people will see. And like, you don't try to throw yourself out there. Everyone always like, because I have such a really fun personality, people always wanted me to be an influencer and Mike vlog, Mike do all these things. Because I'm when I tell you my family knows I'm crazy. I have a very wild, crazy side.
I picked that spirit up, and so I connected with that because I got the same. And so does Caleb. She chilling. Oh, she got it. That's that. See, we are both. Our birthdays were 8 days apart. We both are May Tauruses.
Oh.
May 12th, right, Kay?
May 11th.
May 11th. Okay, so 9 days, because I'm May 20th, and she May 11. And Mike had that reaction. So I don't know who's a Taurus in his family, but he had that
I
reaction.
didn't know how to take his reaction. Excuse me.
It was nice. It was
Councilman.
nice.
No,
it was
keep
nice.
Now keep it 100, Mike.
I
No,
wasn't
go
sure.
ahead.
I wasn't sure. I was a little concerned. I wasn't sure. I don't know. Because you said Taurus and something changed in the
No, listen,
atmosphere.
y'all. Look, y'all. Now that I know y'all, look, it makes it all better. It makes
Well, that's good to know.
So when were you born? What's your sign?
That's
When were you
good.
born, Mike?
I'm a November 11.
Okay.
Scorpio.
Scorpio. My youngest daughter's a Scorpio. November 2nd. Allie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can see that. Yeah. Really, really smart, brilliant. Yeah. But he got another side. So you know what? He snitched on himself. The tale was, he said when, I guess he had this blow up with Mayor Burgess. So that, but I know what that looks like because I seen it with my own daughter.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. But it's not disrespectful. It's just,
no.
you know,
It's passion. It's true passion, man.
Yeah. And you got to be honest with them. You can't BS them at all. And you know, they gonna want you to understand. And if you don't get it, they may get frustrated because they're trying to get you. No, you don't see. You don't get it yet.
And we have a really great relationship after that day. Like, we've always had a great relationship, but he was like Chief Burgess to me. He became like, even though I still respect him like a grandfather and all that, he became in a sense like a brother. And although we're like nowhere near an age, it's like he calls me, he be like, "Hey, little bro, you good? You good today?" Like, and my wife, she'll be laughing like, "Was that man Burgess?" I'm like, "Yeah, we just talk. Like, we chop it up. We don't nothing crazy."
I think he sees a lot of him in you.
Yeah, he's told me that. He's actually said that.
I see a lot of him in you. A lot. Because I've been there 21 years, so I've known Mayor Burgess for 21 years, and I watched the evolution. So I definitely see a lot. I see a lot of him in you. So I'm sure he sees that too. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So we are really curious with the music, what you got coming out. But now I'm curious. I'm sure you don't know, but your political career. Do you have ultimate goals there? We know how much you love your music, so. But I don't want to cheat the music. I guess I'm biased because I'm so excited for you as a performer, but I also know that you write and you play. How many instruments do you play? Because I know you play a lot. See, look, he running out of fingers, Kay.
No, so I can say I seriously play 2 instruments, but I can say I played over the years, and I can pick up a bass guitar and play it. And I can pick up a lead guitar and play it, but keyboard, and I would say anything with drums, percussion, that's like my heart. Like I love that.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
So give us any exciting updates about your music, and then,
Yes.
like I said, let us know where we political aspirations. Where do you see yourself going there? Because I think you could do all of that. You could break the mold. Nobody saw Barack Obama coming. Nobody saw the mayor of New York coming. God gave you a unique set of gifts. So why limit it? If he gave them to you, why should you limit whatever gift you have? And if the world ain't ready for it, that ain't your problem.
That ain't my problem, man. You know what's crazy? I've never. Everyone asks me, what would I, do I see myself further in my political journey? And honestly, it wasn't until I got a random call from a young lady named Ariel, and she actually helps Black mayors get elected. Like, that's her thing. And actually, the mayor of Alabama, Birmingham, was it Birmingham? It might have been Birmingham.
Yeah, they have a Black mayor, I think. In Montgomery, they got it.
Yes. So she helped his campaign, and she called me one day, was like, "Mike," she said, "How serious are you like about this?" I said, "Well, God got me." She said, "Okay, prepare to run for mayor." I said, "You're." So I laughed. I said, "Man, you're crazy." And in my head, I still think she kind of crazy. But when I got to, believe it or not, man, and I'm gonna give a little spill. And I hate to compare it to this night, but I know God does everything for a reason. The night I got assaulted in another state on a political trip was the same night all these politicians were surrounding me. And what's funny is God told me to dress as myself that night. He said, "Don't wear no suit tonight." He said, "Wear your hat for your album." I was promoting my Saul album. I had it said Saul. I had on a white t-shirt with a leather jacket with a Saul button on it and some black jeans. And all of these elected officials, congressmen are walking up to me and my wife, and they're like, "Who are you?" They're just trying to figure out who we are. They're talking to me. They're talking to me. Shout out to Mayor Steve Benjamin of Columbia. He walks up to me and was like, "She said you're going to be running for mayor. So understand, if you want to do this, we're going to back you whenever you do it." Now, mind you, I've never said this. I don't want to run for mayor. That's not what I'm on. Even if later in life, if God says that, then maybe he'll say that then. But at this time, I'm still looking at these people like, y'all just met me. What are y'all saying to me? And they saw something else. So I can't I'll say the people will choose. You know what I'm saying? It's their choice and it's gonna be their option. And if they call me, that's where I'm gonna go.
Always.
If they call me. But as far as my music, that right there is in me. And I guess this is in me as well. And I guess I have to separate the politics from it all, because that's part is in me. I don't like politicking. I don't really like meaningless conversations just to make connections. That's not my thing. I don't even. It's like I believe that uh, the way the world was created before phones, social media, everything, there was divine intervention. There was always divine encounters. There were divine meetings that would change everything. And even sometimes I'll be honest, at City Hall, I don't know everyone's name as far as all the employees and everybody. But when it's time for me to connect with them, that's when I do, and we make a meaningful encounter. But everyone was like, "Get all the names, get all the numbers, get all the cards, get all the," and because I'm doing that in the music industry as well, I don't have the capacity to do this all in here. So I had to find like a something realistic for me, and it was divine encounters. It led me to this point, and it keeps working. So if I continue my political field, it'll be because, like I said, the people called. But music, man, I feel like this album Saul that I'm about to put out, um, it is political. It is speaking to so many different things. It's speaking to that teenager who got ridiculed in church. One of my lyrics, I said, "Be careful of the way you judge non-believers. Yahweh just might fix them up and turn them into our leaders. Burglars and murderers as our teachers, Crips and Bloods as our preachers. I ain't mad, at least I know they gonna feed us. Ain't nothing better than being a believer. But if I ain't grow up in the church, I wouldn't believe either. Y'all make it hard to be a Christian, made up list of do's and don'ts, and wonder why they never listen. You'll just point them to the throne, because that's enough, it's always been." These lyrics, church people don't like that. But I know that's gonna free a 40-year-old man who got hurt when he was 14. And that's gonna lead him back to Christ. So for me, where I see politics is when we change systems. I don't like politics in the aspect of, oh, we're connecting. No, real politics is when you break a system or either create a system.
So, and let me just say this. Let me tie this up. Let me tie this together. And we talked about it. So I may repeat myself in terms of, I'm gonna ask you something that I know I asked you before. Politics and politicians. Politics is a system. It's a system that's rooted in resources and rights. Now, and we just talked about impact. Now, I'm thinking about the impact that people who are not politicians, elected officials, and what I'm about to say is not diminishing politicians, because having that power is everything. Everything. Because having that power, you really get the final say in so many cases, and we live in that now. But I want to go to impact, Kay. The impact, the political impact, the impact that you can have on public policy. So I guess I should have prefaced this because my brain works so fast and so many things going on in my head at the same time. Getting them out sometimes it sounds crazy. It's like a computer just everywhere. But your definition of a you wanted. I'm paraphrasing something, Mike, and I want you to correct me and make sure that I'm accurately describing what I've heard you say. What I've interpreted is that you see politics as a way to be in a position to have impact or influence public policy to make people's lives better. So it's not rooted in the power, but it's more rooted in, because you said the people. So am I right or wrong? Correct me. I just want to make sure I'm right. So
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it.
So I'm going somewhere with this now. So let's focus on the people and impact. And it's gonna make sense to you, right? Like right now, as an artist, you can have a greater impact in a different way, and you can even influence public policy toward politicians, because the impact that you can put on the people that can put the pressure and the impact on elected officials. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
From Harry Belafonte, some of the biggest, Aretha Franklin used her voice.
Bob Marley.
Right. Great. That's a great example. But yeah, let's talk Aretha Franklin. Her voice and her money. Supported Angela Davis. Mahalia Jackson. Her voice and her money. Harry Belafonte. His voice, his money. Dick Gregory, his voice as a comedian, who left comedy and used that same skill set to advocate for just people's basic, not just civil rights, but human rights.
Oh no, he was a comedian later. I knew him as the powerhouse.
He was one of the first comedians that went on. I think before Johnny Carson, it was like Dick Parr. Like, just think of late night. Think of Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, somebody like that. Dick Gregory was like one of the first before all the other black comedians. Dick Gregory was that dude, and literally walked away from it and walked fully into civil rights, because a lot of his humor was rooted in social political commentary. But he had his cigarette and he was quick with it, quick, funny, very smart guy. So I hope this makes sense. I hope I'm really explaining it to you and articulating this to you in a way that you can understand for all the viewers. Is that you can have just all the artists that I named, like you said, from Aretha to Bob Marley to Mahalia Jackson. We talked about the influence that Marvin Gaye had with that What's Going On album. Stevie Wonder's still influenced as an artist, what Chuck D and Public Enemy had. So you can, who knows, that you may wind up becoming a multi-platinum artist, songwriter, which will expand your platform doing R&B, gospel, whatever. Forget the labels. It's just the music, and the message will speak to people's hearts. The industry put labels on it so they can decide who's gonna make how much money and when. Forget all that. But you as an artist, you understand labels. People don't hear labels, and they don't feel labels.
Yeah.
They hear lyrics, and they feel the music and the spirit and where the music is coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's facts.
So we don't know. I'm not gonna speak for K-Love. She gonna speak for herself. But I'm just excited to see, because I know it's going somewhere great, and it's special. So I'm just excited. When you see it, you get excited. It's like, because you don't see it every day.
I'm gonna see if I can pull up this cover just so you can see this cover art.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So you can see how.
So when is the release date? You give us the release date.
So I guess this is time to announce, the good news.
Yes.
So I had
don't bury the lead. Don't bury the lead.
I had an original release date, and I wanted just to get the music out. But then I told God, I said, God, this music. Once I sat down with the body of work, I said, I don't want to just put this out. This has to. I felt the urgency of like this has to reach the masses. Like I felt like I was like, yeah, this can't just stay between a couple million streams and blah blah blah. This has to like go out there. And I said, God, if you can confirm this for me, I'll know because I've been doing music for at this point, it was almost like 8 years at that time. And I said, but when I put this single out, if you change my life like right now, I'll know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And when I tell you, maybe about 2 months later, I had my first distribution offer. And this is from one gospel song. And these people, they don't even know I have a whole R&B catalog. So they don't know what I'm really capable of. They only heard this one gospel song I got out. And they gave me a distribution deal like this. And that's what I was wanting for the album. I was like, I need someone to distribute this. So a guy named Damon Stewart, really well-known guy, just got inducted in the Gospel Hall of Fame. I reached out to him. Oh, I reached out to his company just to kind of get radio promo because he's the radio guy. He'll get your songs on the billboard. That's what he does. He got like 73 number ones in the last 10 years. So he knows the system. He knows how to do it. But then he was like, Mike, send me some more unreleased stuff. And I was iffy about it because I'm like, I don't know. But I sent it and they sent me another deal just like that. And I turned that one down too. And he's like, bro, you're not famous yet. Why are you turning down deals? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, man, honestly, well, I'm not in a rush to be famous. I want this message to get out, but I'm not gonna get effed by doing it while doing it. Like that ain't about to happen like that. So 4 months later, they sent me another deal, and I was able to get, I believe, one of the craziest contracts for an independent artist. I was able to get a 75-25 split, where I keep 75% of everything, and they get 25. So he was even telling me, he was like, like independent artists, he said, artists who sign don't even get this, right? I was like, man, look, look, what's up? Are you like, what we gonna do? But because of that, it now I would say prepare around November.
Okay.
Now, the original release date was during the summertime. But I had to kind of polish it, get it right, and get that industry. Because I would say Damon, he had the industry air. So even him hearing some of my songs, he was able to help me with certain things that, although he wasn't trying to change me, but he was like, this will get you in the door and then you go crazy. You do everything you need to do.
Yeah.
He said, but if you make this minor little tweak to your music, because you're a musician, so you're very musical, but they ain't processing music like that right now. He said, but your words, he said, so simplify some of the music just a little bit and let the words speak. And he said that's going to get you in.
Yep.
So now I'm projecting towards November, December, but got some great things on the way. A single with Jarrell Smalls is on there as well, from Charleston. So it's very diverse. In the midst of this, I was able to birth my group, One Nation. This was actually a group that God had given me a vision of since I was like 5, and all of a sudden at 28 or 27 it came back and into fruition, and like it's blowing up. I got some talented artists with me. A guy named Jeremy Washington. His family is a very well-known family around here. His dad's a pastor. A girl named Jasmine Pinkney. She's one of the best singers I know. My wife Jordan sings with me. Young lady named Swaze Schuler. She's one of the most amazing vocalists I've ever met. And then Nelson Gibson, his mom is a gospel legend around here. So we were all able to connect, and it was at such a intense time where we all needed each other. So it was like it just happened at a pure moment, man. So now this music is going to be a reflection of camaraderie, of of understanding that sometimes peace is uncomfortable, but it's peace in the hindsight. This music, it'll let you, like, even digesting truth sometimes is uncomfortable, but you don't realize your spirit is at peace because you heard truth. Your flesh at this time may still feel uncomfortable when you hear it, but in hindsight your spirit is at peace because truth is being spoken out to you. So I had to even get past that idea of like, are they going to like this? Are they going to accept this? Are they going to think I'm coming at them? Are they going to think? And God said, well, Mike, if you don't want them to think that, talk about yourself. And even some parts of the songs, I'm saying things about myself that ain't even happened to me. I'm saying things that are other people's convictions, but I'm saying it happened to me. I'm saying I bought fake vacations and did all these things to appeal to man, and now I'm stuck. I'm saying I did this. So, and when I was able to do it, freed me of anything. I don't care what people think about nothing no more. And it's like I'm not saying I was able to wear the code of Christ, but I feel like when Christ says be Christ-like, that's what it means. It means you wear it, and then you show them by the fruit you produce. You don't show them by telling them. You don't show them by trying to tell them what to show them by how you live, and then the fruit you produce, that'll be the testimony. So
Well,
I'm
shout out.
excited.
Finish your thought, because I got to shout out somebody in your group.
No, I was just gonna say I'm excited to just show the fruit, man. That's it.
So I'm shouting out Nelson. Nelson went to high school with Allie, my youngest
Okay,
daughter.
wow.
She was a vocal music major from 6th grade to 9th grade at School of the Arts in Charleston County.
Wow.
Then she became a
Wow.
fashion design major. So when I saw him, he remembered. We know him very well. Him and his parents.
Yeah, man.
So
Nelson,
shout
he's
to
a
Lil
great
Nelson.
guy, man. Yeah, man. And they're even in their God, it's crazy how I was shy, but now because they're shy, a lot of Nelson don't really, he's not a shy person at all. But everyone else has this like kind of shyness about them. And it's like God forced me to come out of this shell to pull these people because they're all great solo artists. So I always tell them, like, y'all, we a group, but the goal is for you to do what you got to do. And I want you to see yourself as the leader. We're all leaders in this group. Even though right now they calling me and they telling me to come, y'all have just as much of the burden on y'all to free these people with your voices, with your hearts behind what you're doing than I do, as I do. So I put so much responsibility on them, but it's crazy. We had a rehearsal and some of them, they sleep right now. A couple of them sleep right now. Hey guys.
Hey there.
So
is Nelson there? Is Nelson there?
No, he just left. He had a cookout to go to.
It's funny because Allie never comes in the studio. Allie just stuck her head. I don't know what made her. I'm gonna ask her when it shows up. I say, well, what's wrong, boo? Because she opened the door and she like looking like, and then went back out. That's weird. She never. All right, so this label that you got a distribution deal with.
Yes.
If you can name check them, but my question is, have they heard your R&B stuff? And
no.
Okay. So is that intentional? Do you plan to let them hear it? Do you want them to distribute your R&B stuff, or where are you with that? And they're gonna market you as a gospel artist.
Yeah,
right?
as a Christian artist. Yeah, they're gonna IGA, Damon Stewart, he partnered with the #1 gospel label right now, Tribal, and Sony. And he was able to create, get this distribution together, DSPs, because he's the radio guy. So it's like, man, I'm getting all these artist songs to #1 I might as well do my own distribution. So I'm one of the first artists as well. So he's kind of experimenting as well. We're kind of, feeling it all out. But no, it is very intentional. I haven't let them hear my R&B music yet because I know for a fact that he's going to push that immediately. And he's even as crazy. Because he heard me rap. He was like, Mike, you don't got to do gospel, right? He's like, I'm trying to. He actually just did a song for T.I. So he just got one of T.I.'s songs #1.
I told you.
So,
which T.I. song? Which T.I. song? Mr. Him?
I can't remember which one it was.
Okay.
I can't remember which one it was. But I saw the stat. I was like, dang, I didn't know he was where. He was like, yeah, Mike. He said, Mike, I used to work with Kanye back in the early 2000s, blah, blah. He was like, I'm trying to get Christian artists to be more mainstream. He said, I don't want to change you, but the whole time in my head, I'm like, this is actually the change for me, being a Christian artist. This is the new thing. But he doesn't know that. And I feel like that was a business decision. I don't even think it was spiritual. I think business-wise, I figured the less they knew about me, the more I could actually request the things I wanted. Where some people, don't realize the more you put out there, the more they can figure out how they're going to use you. And I didn't know him yet. He's a great guy, you know what I'm saying? But at the time, it was like, maybe.
So when are you going to unleash the R&B stuff?
When am I gonna unleash it? I'll say I'll say this. I'm doing one, and I'm not gonna say last forever, but this year for my birthday, I am doing my like final R&B show. And it's in mind you, I don't know how that's gonna change.
So why do you say your final R&B show?
Well, for I can say for this next era, for the new Mike B era. So I was going as Mike Brown, but this new Mike B era is going. I know it'll be for at least another year, or maybe even two, maybe even more. Who knows? But I have so many other R&B songs that a lot of people love, and they're like Mike. And it's crazy. I didn't know how much they loved it until they started seeing me doing gospel. So it's like now I got people calling Mike. You got to do this. You got to do that. Mike, you got to perform this. You got to perform that. And I'm like. I didn't even know y'all were listening to these songs. I didn't even, I thought I was putting it out because I love music like that. But they're like the fans came out of the woodworks and they were like, Mike, don't forget about us now. You built this fan base and we love this. We love your new music, but we love R&B, Michael. We love all of this stuff too. So
Mike,
I'm playing that by ear. I'm playing that by ear.
I'm gonna say this, man, and I told you this to some degree when we talked. You can definitely do both. Now, so I'm not trying to influence you either way because, as I say, I don't have a dog in the fight. I see your greatness, so I know where it's going. You may be a little conflicted. I'm not conflicted in what I saw, and what I will say to you is, the folks at Sony, when they see what I've seen twice, forget whatever all the R&B stuff that you still got in the vault, like print, in the can that you hide now. If somebody, wait a minute, and it might not be Sony. If the right person sees what I've seen, you may have another decision to make. So that's not.
Yeah.
I don't want to use problem. That's just a great place to be.
Yeah,
and to be so few people are gifted that way to where they got those kind of. I mean, it's your time. And Christy, I told him this. I said, Mike, it's similar to you, K-Love. I said, it's your time. Right now is your time. And I don't know when it's gonna pop, but I see both popping huge. Absolutely.
It could honestly be simultaneously because me and my wife, we put out her first single, a song we have called "Fly Away." And when I tell you, I don't even, I might have sent it to you, but
no, I didn't get it yet.
Okay, so
is that a gospel or R&B song?
That's an R&B song.
Okay.
So that's a love song about our story. And when I tell you, man, like there's so much hope and love in that song where it's like, you can't tell me this ain't gospel in some format. It's the truth of the time, of the world, of what and everybody can digest this. So like I said, I'm not putting like even though I'm quoting it as my final R&B concert, it's more so like letting people know, well, for the next, just to kind of just not get deep, but it's just like God told me, he said, when I want the world to hear another love song, I'll give it to you. He said, but right now there's things that they need to hear that that people who I want to use to do it, who got the platforms, they don't want to lose what they have. He said, but you are at a point where you don't got nothing to lose right now. And he said, only the game. And he told me, he said, I'm going to use you to do this. But I'll never forget it. Travis Green prophesied it to me when I was young. He said, Mike, God's going to let you do everything you want to do. Everything you want to do. He said, but you gotta do what he wants you to do first. And I didn't know what that meant. I had no idea. At that time, I want to be in the NFL. So I'm thinking, all right, this guy's football. What I need to do. But now that I'm at this crossroad, I'm like, I got to do Saul. I got to put out Saul. I have to root myself in the industry first in this. And then once I'm rooted in this, everything else is going to build. And like I said, because I don't care what no one thinks anymore, I don't care. I'll go to listen, I performed a whole entire gospel set at the Poorhouse. And this was not a gospel event. But people didn't know they were listening to gospel music either. That's the other thing. So it was like, my music is even the gospel music, it's so digestible. When you guys hear it, you won't even really be able to tell, honestly.
Don't let these labels limit you. And I feel bad because I need to stop doing this with you. These labels, gospel, R&B, for you, throw that label out of your head because I'm gonna say this. And Christy and I both, we've been doing black radio all our career. I've done radio, period, black radio, pop radio. And one thing that we both, Christy and I, can tell you, they may release you as a gospel artist, but the people and music and radio, black radio don't give a shit about those labels. Here's the example. You mentioned it, Andre Crouch.
Yeah.
Black radio was like, we playing this. Like, we playing this. The Clark sisters, their song, black radio came and got that. I could go on and on. BB Winans, CC Winans, black radio. Man. When a Howard Hughes' biggest songs was not even a single. You and I talked about it. That was an album cut.
Yeah.
That's iconic. All the love songs, all the stuff with Shalimar, Night to Remember, Make That Move, Say Amen. Was not even a single. I remember when that album first came out in the 90s. I was working in radio. That was what they called back in the day, an album cut.
Yep.
Man, that song as an album cut was like #1 rotation.
Yeah,
so, man. Depending on what you release, they may release you and try to pigeonhole you as a gospel artist, but I know what I've seen. And I haven't heard it, but don't think that black radio won't come and like, we playing this too.
Yeah, no, I think because I signed distribution and not, as an artist with them.
Yeah.
Even if they wanted to do that, they couldn't because my agreement is I can put out whatever I want as whatever I want. So I have full creative art control, music control, anything. And then on the flip side, it's like, I actually think he wants me to be more of an R&B hip hop artist anyway, because the sound he even wants me to push, like I sent him one of my most churchiest songs, thinking that would be the one he'd be most impressed by. Cause I'm like, dude, you're Ty Trippett, Kirk Franklin, you're making all, but he found me because he was looking for something different. He was looking for someone who could cross over in that whole different avenue. So I was trying to appeal to what I thought, he was making #1. And he's like, nah, this is #1 in gospel. This is #1 in this genre. He's like, I want you'll be #1 in any genre. And when someone says that to you, it's like, of his caliber, you kind of then eventually sit and be like, man, like, okay, so you got your ear to the industry, so you know something I clearly don't know. So I actually think, man, I know he'll be excited whenever I do tell him, like, I'm actually R&B artist.
K-Love, you need to listen. Tell nephew, we worked in radio. You better tell him what black radio will do. Yolanda Adams, Marvin Sapp. Come on now.
Marvin just signed with Rock, or he just
Donnie McClurkin. Come on, don't tell him what black radio, man. Okay, gospel, great. We playing this. Tell him, K-Love.
I can't really. Okay, I'm not trying.
You and I both worked in radio, and all those artists that I named.
Yeah, but
they had those songs were #1 on R&B radio.
And you are absolutely correct. Yeah, I absolutely.
And Yolanda had several R&B gospels that went R&B #1 on black radio and on the R&B charts.
Correct. You are absolutely correct. I just, when it comes down to the, programming aspect, it's like what you're saying is that is common knowledge, but like Mike, what I'm getting at is Geno know like a whole lot more about me as far as how like radio actually works. I don't know as much as him. So, but I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Yes. And while I got the floor, sir, I again, I know you're not trying to impress me, but hold on. I wrote a note. Hold on one second.
I know, because while you were talking, I saw her head down look. I was like, okay,
I was over here jotting down notes. I sure was. So let me make sure I got this phrase correct. Was that phrase, you're at peace because your spirit is at truth? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I'm at peace because my spirit is digesting truth.
That's a bar. I told you he was he's a poet, a songwriter, and a rapper. I told you. You didn't believe me.
sir. Oh my gosh. Like I almost flipped this laptop over because I was like, what did he just say? That wow. Wow. Like that's all I
It
can that's all
hurts.
I have is wow. Ah,
It
okay.
does hurt though. It does hurt. That's the truth behind it. Like we gotta. I think our minds are programmed to believe that peace is easy. Our minds
Yes.
are programmed to believe that peace doesn't hurt. Peace looks like going to do what you want to do. No, peace is. It's crazy. I wrote a poem and I said, "Peace took my heart without my consent," and it was literally like in a moment where I felt like I should respond to something, for my sanity because I got to speak up for me. But the peace was like in not saying anything at all. And although in that moment it hurt, in hindsight, it made it created true peace.
I have nothing. Like I am wow. Like I am so floored by you. Like peace took my heart without my consent. Oh,
I,
okay,
I
sir.
told you he got
That's I
bars.
have nothing.
I told you he got bars. Now I
I have
don't
nothing.
listen, Kate.
Wow.
I don't just hype anybody. For me to get excited about something to somebody, it had to be special. But now you all see for yourselves. You see now.
Yes. And where can I go to listen to some of your
I'm
music?
gonna
Because
send you.
now,
You can all streaming platforms. The
okay,
music. So I'll send you things directly. Actually, I'm gonna get your number. And I'll connect with
okay,
you to send everything to you directly. But all streaming platforms. If you
okay,
look up Mike Brown,
okay,
you'll find some of my old R&B stuff, and then Mike B, some of my new gospel stuff. But it's still all the same intertwined. So yeah.
okay,
So,
okay.
so the album, what's the release date?
So don't have an exact date. It's in November. So really it'll depend on um I'll be honest, like how my birthday week goes. I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna like because I'm gonna send them the music before time, but when I feel like it just the way it feels, when I feel like I need to drop it, I'm just gonna be like, hey, push the
See,
button.
he gonna pull a Beyonce. He's like, hey y'all, here it come.
Push the button.
At
And the thing is
11:59, it's here. At 12:01, let's go. Are you
because
gonna?
now that I understand the system, I understand like the engine works itself whenever you got distribution. So me over promoting it can maybe even push some people away. So I'm like, I'm just gonna, and when I know they hear it, they're gonna go to it. I know that.
So, are you gonna do an album release party?
Yeah, I am. I am. I am. I
Okay.
am. It's called the Road to Damascus. I'm gonna do it at my grandfather's church. So gonna
Wow.
have it set up in there like and the story of Saul to Paul, his transformation.
Well, explain that to those of us sinners who haven't been to church in an Easter Sunday or two.
So basically, the road to Damascus was Saul. Saul was a persecutor of Christians. He became Apostle Paul, but he killed Christians. He killed people who were believers of Christ in that aspect. This is how he lived his life. He was a military sergeant, but this man who was a persecutor of Christians, one day on a road to on his way on the road to Damascus, God hit him with the Holy Spirit, blind him for 3 days, and he was in jail. And I believe he was, once he could see spiritually, that's when God removed the scales from his physical eyes. So once he understood him internally, then the scales, fell, and then he became Apostle Paul preaching. So everyone was looking at him like, how is this man who just was killing us now preaching, the gospel? And I feel like that's literally the representation of what God wants us to see. And like I said, to see that we're all Saul. Let me see if I can
so what was waiting at Damascus for him?
ski mask. So my waiting in Damascus for him was the revelation. It was his revelation to preach the gospel. His
To change
revelation
his life. Okay, that's
to change it changed
okay.
his life. So
Gotcha.
it was when they switched his name to Paul. And that's why everyone was like, Mike, why you don't name it Paul? And I was like, well, Saul is just as important, because if this man was not the persecutor, we would not have this apostle. If he wasn't just as bold in the darkness he was living, he wouldn't be as bold as he was in the light. So in a sense, I'm not saying it had to happen, but it had to happen. He had to go through those things. He had to become that person, and it made him fearless. He's the most fearless man in the Bible. And it's because he once lived a life where he wasn't, you know, listening to, you know, God how we were, and he wasn't doing all these things, but he took the principles he learned from that part of life and added it to our belief system. And he was fearless.
Wow. All right, so Kay, look, I'm gonna give you the last word because let me just say this. Mike, let everybody know once again where they can download all your music, and they can download all your Mike Brown R&B and your Mike B stuff that's coming. So look, I want to thank you because Kay, listen, we probably will never get this much time with this brother because we'll be seeing him either American Music Award,
I'm pulling up
Grammy,
on y'all.
BET Award. So yes, he will be. Listen, greatness awaits. You'll be hearing this brother on all type gospel radio, R&B radio, pop radio, because it's coming. And I've seen that. I've seen it twice. Just seeing him twice perform live. And the world is gonna see it. So I'm excited, but he won't have time for us because so many folks are gonna be pulling.
Oh no, man! I'm gonna always have time for y'all. We locked in now. We locked in now.
So, but listen. I'm excited. I told him, Kay. I said, look, and I'll buy my own tickets. So just at the Grammys, you know, I'll sit up in the balcony. Me and Alex, we'd be up in the balcony. I'll be like, that's family. That's my dog. Come on, nephew. Let's go. So, Kay, go ahead. You got the last word, Kay.
I just want you to know, sir, for my first time actually meeting you and being able to be in your company has been an absolute honor, an absolute privilege and blessing. What I can appreciate is when, you know, Geno allows me to come on and sit with him, and I get to get, you know, poured into. I get to be influenced by someone else. Like, I know I've said it a couple of times, like you're amazing. Like, you are absolutely amazing. I you know, used to do some social media work for the station, and I remember when I did a post about you, it was actually about you and your dad because we were doing Black History shout outs and everything. Mm-hmm. And I remember I remember looking at your face then, and I was like, it's something different about him. I remember thinking that. I remember that. Never knew anything about you. Never knew, you know, I can never sit here and say that I knew anything about you, but like y'all both said, you know, spirit recognize spirit. And it's just, there's a purity about you. There is something about you that is so necessary. I love the fact that you're driving 2 lanes. I love the fact that you're able to minister to all of us. Like, seriously, you're able to, you're going to do you're already doing some amazing things, but you are really on the path to absolute greatness. And I love the fact that you found your peace. You found where you're supposed to be, and you're driving the mess out of your lane. That's a beautiful thing. The fact that you are, you know, a councilman, the fact that you are an artist, but just the fact that you are a positive Black man doing positive Black things. I can get with that, sir. I can get with that, sir. You are appreciated. Please keep doing what you're doing, sir. You're so appreciated.
So listen, to the millions of Mike B's fans, y'all do me a solid. I need you all to click on that like button, leave your comments, all right? And please copy and paste this link. And so, Mike, before I let you go, I got one solid I'm going to ask. When you release this era's version of What's Going On,
yeah, we talked about that.
When you release that album, all I want you to do is in the liner notes is just give me a shout out, because you know how they say, and they'll mention and shout out or thanks to you. Ain't got to thank me. You're gonna say shout out to Uncle G. That's it. That's all.
Hey, say less. I got 50 different ways I'm throwing it in the ball.
Y'all see my name right there, right? Right. I told you. Come on, young Marvin Gaye. I told y'all. Y'all see that? Because you know Marvin had gospel roots too. Now Marvin can sing some gospel. In between the sexual healing and I Want You and Let's Get It On. Yes.
Oh Oh man, it's been great, man.
So that's
This
all.
has been great.
That's all I'm asking, man.
Thank y'all for this opportunity and this time. Thank you. I knew you both from afar, and to be able to talk with you as we are all spirits, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
in this world, and no idol, I mean no certain titles on us, man. Just be able to have a real conversation. This is a rare occurrence in this time. So I appreciate this more than y'all know.
No, well, I appreciate you. Kay already told you. Kay, if you want to add something else, but I already told him. I appreciate you, but you got a permanent home on this platform. So, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna try to drag you back right before you have your album release party. I want you to promote that. So I want you to come back.
Yes, sir. That'll be great. Thank you.
Talk about that. Now she gonna get mad at me. Now even though you got a group, but my sister, she tried a little shy, but she got some vocal chops. Right.
Don't hide it.
Additional background singer. She being modest. Yep. Hey, listen, closed mouth don't get fed, Kay.
No, you did not try to use my words on me. Don't do that. Listen here, Mike. Okay. So I can carry a little bit of a tune, but I have never wanted to be like, oh, I can sing. But I love background vocal stuff. I do. It's been a while since I've done it. It has been a while, but see, first of all,
don't stop. Listen, don't stop. You never know. Don't stop. You never know what
Mike. Thank you. Thank you. That's why bring you. That's why I did that, Mike, because you talking about shy. She has and it's a weird thing because May Tauruses, but it's not weird because believe it or not, there's actually a part of me, especially when that was shy, but it was like because people misread you. And you know when it's people to misread you, and for me, people, oh, you think you this, you think you that, and blah blah blah. So I would get a lot of that, and it's like, no, I don't think I'm better than anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I carry myself with pride and dignity, and yes, I think highly of myself. I love myself, but I love people. I'll help anybody, but confidence can be very intimidating. And it can put people off, and they can read the confidence as arrogance. It's like, no, I believe I don't gamble. They say in Vegas, always bet on black. I say in life, always bet on you. Because there's one thing nobody can beat you doing, and that's being the best version of yourself. That's all I know. Right. My grandfather taught me, they said, whatever you're going to do, be the best at it. Or don't do it at all. So that's in my DNA. Right. So I'm not doing it. Yes, I play sports. I was very competitive. But I wanted to be the best because I just want to be the best. Yeah, I hate losing, but I want to be the best at it. And if I'm not, I'm going to go in the lab and work at it. It's not about the other person, it's about me. If I'm being the best version of me, I know I'm good. I'm not even worried about anybody else.
Yeah.
My biggest enemy would be me. So all right, listen, we have taken up so much of your time. Thank you. Listen, we'll give you got the floor, man. We'll let you close out before I'll go to credits. Kay, thank you, sweetie. Anything else you want to say? And we know how busy you are, so thank you. Kay, do you have any appearances coming up, Kay? Anything else that we need to promote?
The next thing I have, tomorrow I'll be at the Back to School Bash with Star 99.7.
We both
I'm
will.
In Savannah.
Yeah, we both.
So I'll see you tomorrow. So I'll be there tomorrow. And my next event, I'll be speaking at the Women's Conference at Ebenezer AME. I am their keynote speaker on August the 15th. So that's my next thing. Yeah.
Mike B, you got the last word, brother. Once again, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Look, I just want to say thank you. And to all the watchers, peace is waiting for you. It won't feel comfortable, but it's waiting for you. Go get it. Go be free. That's
a bar. Told you got bars, y'all. Thank you. Thank you, Mike B, man. We love you, brother. Just
love you, man. Thank you.
K-Love, come on, I love my fellow Taurian. Come on, girl. Let's go, Taurus.
Love you right back, G. Love you too, Mike. It was such a pleasure speaking with you this evening.
Yes, this was great.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll see you live Monday We are getting out of here. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, shoot me an email, Geno Jones Show. You want to support the show financially via Zelle or Cash App, just shoot me an email, Geno Jones Show, or you can go to Zelle, use Geno Jones Show and support the show financially. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks again to my guest co-host, Christy K-Love Baxter, K-Love, and soon to be R&B, gospel, R&B gospel, just music superstar, Mike A. Brown.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.